All right, marriage is a war, from what I can gather. I've never been married. I've had a string of unsuccessful relationships, but when I think about my own parents and their marriage, it's a war. It's a war of attrition, but it's a war, and there's little battles and big battles. And I'd like to talk to you about one of the most memorable that I've seen, right? Because it's a beautiful and horrific tale, right? Worthy of Dostoevsky. So first, let me tell you a little bit about my father. My father is a man that does not enjoy food, right? He's an extremely picky eater. There's only about five things that he likes on this whole planet. He's so picky that if he was in the middle of an extremely delicious meal and he was eating it, he was thinking to himself, "Oh my God, this is one of the greatest meals that I've ever had. It's got to be in the top five meals of my entire life." And he turns to the person that made it and he says, "How is it that you made this masterpiece?" And the person looks at him and says, "Well, I was climbing Mount Kilimanjaro and I got to the top and I saw these incredibly rare mushrooms." My father would be like, "Blah! Mushrooms? You didn't tell me there were mushrooms in it." Blah! And just spit the soup out onto the table and just be done with it. Okay, so that's who we're talking about. All right. Uh, so it's the old man's birthday. This is a few years ago, and he doesn't really like a big deal made out of his birthday. But on this particular birthday, it's a kind of a party. There's some of his friends there. There's people over, and my mom is in charge of getting the cake. Now, what the old man really loves is ice cream cake. Okay, of the six things that he eats on the planet, one is cake and the other is ice cream. Ice cream cake, you put it together. And the plainer the better. If it's just like a vanilla cake with vanilla ice cream, he is a happy clam, okay? He doesn't like anything fancy, no frosting, no heavy frosting, no, he just wants the simpler the better, okay? And that would have been so easy, but no, that's not what happened. Okay, so everybody's there, and my mom comes walking in with the cake, and there's candles on it, and it's "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday." And she sets the cake down on the table. My father's looking at it, his eyes are getting really big. He's like, he's examining this cake, and he knows something is wrong. And he turns to my mother and he says, "Is this cake strawberry?" Because he hates strawberry, okay? If he was on a desert island and the only thing to eat were strawberries, he would die. He's not allergic to them, but he just hates them. And my mom looks at him and says, "Just scrape it off." Now, this cake was a strawberry cake with strawberry frosting and strawberries on it. So if he had scraped off all the strawberry, the only thing that would have been left was a plate. That's it. Everything else would have been gone because the whole fucking thing was strawberry. It was as though she had gone to the bakery and said, "Can you make the most strawberry cake possible? Take thousands of strawberries and dry them and then smash them into pieces and then add them to the egg and the yeast," right? The only way it could have been more strawberry is if the thing had been in the shape of a strawberry itself. So scraping it off was not an option. So my father is embarrassed, humiliated, bewildered. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know what to say. His face is getting red, you know. And my mom is like, "Oh, look, other people are enjoying the cake. Keith, you're enjoying the cake." I said, "Mom, could you apologize for getting him the strawberry cake. I mean, can you just say you're sorry? You know? And she's like, no. She said, your father doesn't like anything. And I said, well, it's true that he is an extremely picky man, but there is one thing that he really likes, and it's cake. But you got him a strawberry cake. The only thing he eats more than strawberry is coconut. Why didn't you just go ahead and put the coconut on there? Because let me tell you something, folks. This is not a foolish woman. This was not an idiot's error, okay? This was an elaborately planned fuck you, right? This was a fuck you 35 years in the making, right? Presented in a very clever and subtle way. Here, happy birthday, asshole, right? The only way that the fuck you could have been clear is if the cake had been shaped as a middle finger. Eat up, you son of a bitch. Yeah, I know you don't like strawberries. Well, I found the most strawberry cake in the world, and here it is in front of you and all your friends to enjoy. How does it taste? How does that taste? And that is marriage.